Hey, it's Pastor Dan from Dexter Gospel Church with the Proverbs Practical. I appreciate you watching. Today's proverb urges us to think about the impact of our decisions now on our relationships in the future. We're in Proverbs 29, verse 21. It says, "He that delicately brings up his servant from a child shall have him become his son at the length." Now this verse is pretty tricky in the Hebrew. It uses some unusual words to teach what may be an unusual message. And while the basic meaning is the same, when you look at different commentators and such, the interpretation and how to apply it diverges very sharply. So he speaks of someone who takes in a child who works for them. He brings up his servant from a child. So he brings up that servant as though that child were his own. They provide for the child, they educate the child. Some think that the word for delicately bringing up is one for fondling, for pampering, for spoiling. That is, the person is brought up without discipline or correction. Everything they want is given to them, and they don't actually have to work for it. Their master becomes their provider without actually being their authority. If that's the implication, then the idea of the servant becoming a son is that eventually the servant will seize that position himself. He'll think eventually that he is of equal authority and power as his master. He might supplant and shove aside the actual children of the master, seizing power that wasn't rightfully given to him. He was never restrained, and so he shows no restraint. But if that's not the implication of the word there, and I don't know that the prophet has to be taken so negatively, though I'm not an expert on Hebrew, it may simply be saying that the servant brought up like one's own child, nurtured, disciplined, educated, guided carefully, can even be adopted in as a child. See, in their culture, that was a thing that was done. Adoption was done often with adults, not children. It brought someone into the household, making them a full-fledged member of that family with all of its inheritance, obligations, standing, and so on. There were times when a man had no children, but he had a faithful servant, maybe even one he took in when they were a child. And eventually he had so much invested in them and they'd grown so much under him that he would adopt them and they would legally become his children, the heirs to his inheritance. Whichever interpretation is correct for the Hebrew here, it seems clear that how we treat people as they develop has an impact on both our future relationship with them and on their own destiny. So we need to use that influence wisely, whether it's with our own children, our employees, or other young people that we minister to. The care we treat them with will have a resounding effect for years to come. What we do in a relationship now affects what that relationship will look like years down the road. I hope this video is a help to you. If so, give it a like. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, we'd love to hear from you in the comments, and we'd love to see you in person here at Dexter Gospel Church. Until next time, I hope you stay well and work with others wisely.